eloquent and incisive and strategic that they're going to answer a lot of questions in a short space of time. But I'm going to let you say a few words, both of you, to start with, and then we wanted to talk about two things, really. The Middle East, what comes next, Turkey's role, Greece's role, and then Greece-Turkish relations. That's the subject of our conversation, I think. So,
thank you very much, first of all, for kind invitation of my dear friend Dimitri and the Economist magazine. I think region is not in an isolated place. Region is, from the top, part of global environment, and from the down, an extension of national environment. So there should be a vision of interconnection between national, regional, and global aspects of the questions. There I see two different approaches. First, let me clarify my methodology. Two types of leaders we have, and we had in the past. One is very polemical tacticians. The other one is visionary strategians. Polemical tacticians may win next election, but they may lose history. And the visionary strategists, they will gain the next generation, not the next election. Unfortunately, today on global scene, we can see almost all international organizations' norms are very, very fragile. When we say regional order, for example, or global order, what do we mean? Three basic prerequisites are there. Common values, common norms, principles. Second, institutions and structures. And third, policies and wise leadership. Unfortunately today, because of very polemical, tactical leaders and policies, the established norms, the established institutions, and wise politics after the Second World War to create a global humanitarian climate is being shaken. Today, unfortunately, there is no real respect to basic Declaration of Human Rights, Universal Declaration of Human Rights. What is going on in Gaza is terrible. I am following these sessions. There was no reference to these issues since you said regional. I don't think that Gaza is a regional issue. Gaza is not a problem between Israelis or Palestinians or between Muslims and Jews. Gaza today is a humanitarian problem. All the basic values of humanity have been ignored there. Can you imagine? Former Minister of Defense of Israel declared, "We are fighting against human animals," underline, human animals. "We will eliminate them all, and we do not recognize any restraint, no restraint." When as a human being, not as a former prime minister, politician, when I see this statement, where are we going? And this is not just a critic. Could you imagine, for example, in Turkey and Greece, there was a war in the 1920s. We fought against each other. But after the war, Atatürk and Venizelos, they came together as two human beings, as two leaders for the future of their nations. But if you want to make peace with the other side, first you have to accept that they are equal human beings like you. Otherwise, there will be no peace. Similarly, on many other issues, John, these norms are being bypassed. Let me say, of course, I am against all nuclear weapons anywhere in the world. As a human being, trying to have a nuclear weapon means preparing for the end of the humanity. But in the Middle East, I am living in Turkey. In the Middle East, if there is no nuclear weapon for Iran, I will definitely support. And I mediated between P5+1 and Iran in 2010, and we achieved a nuclear agreement with Brazilian friends when Iran had very low enriched uranium. That was a clear solution. But at the same time, I don't want any other nuclear weapon in our region, neither Iran nor Israel. So we have to have some common norms and relatives we may make reference to it. Today, with full respect to everybody, but President Trump's attitude even in NATO, I criticized in one of my articles a few days ago, as if I was in office today, I would ask President Trump, you attack nuclear facility in Iran, that might be seen as bilateral, but I am your ally as Turkey. You didn't inform me. And Fordo is just 450 miles away from Turkish border. There could have been a leakage to Turkish citizens and many Turks who could have been killed because of this nuclear attack. And as an ally, a strategic ally, Turkey learned this operation in the morning. Why I am giving this, John? As a strategic thinking, our main mission today is not national, not regional, but what will be our common values as humanity. And this will reflect to our regional politics. In Turkish-Greek relations, you may implement this. In Middle East, you may implement this. And here, especially since many of our friends are from Europe, I think today we need a new European leadership. Humanity today needs European leadership. Just to rearrange, reconstruct EU, not this, but reconstruct our common values. And balancing American influence as well. When I say American, I don't mean all the United States, of course. The existing policies is just refer to unpredictability. Today, the main danger for regional or global issues or national unpredictability. We don't know what may happen tomorrow morning. This unpredictability is a big threat to economy, big threat to peace and stability. And exclusionary approach. So at last, I want to say, maybe we will come back, two principles I am suggesting against unpredictability and exclusionary policies. Our principles of regional order and global order should be stability, predictability, and a visionary approach of inclusivity. Inclusivity. You cannot exclude a people living in their homeland, asking them to leave Gaza, where their ancestors lived for millennia there, making that place a holiday camp. How, in which capacity you are telling this to a people? From that until this, we have to be inclusive, we have to be visionary, we have to be principled and normative, and we have to, if necessary, we have to criticize ourselves as well. Thanks.
Thank you very much. We'll definitely come back to some of these points, but over to you now, Dimitris.
Well, first of all, I want to tell you that I'm more than happy to be here with you, Joan, but also with my good friend, and I mean it when I say it, because we have been working together very closely when he was a foreign minister and I was foreign minister, and if one day we can talk about our cooperation at the time, because in diplomacy, it's not what you see, it's what is happening behind closed doors. And at that time, we have stopped from the beginning small crises that might escalate. So I'm happy to be with Ahmet Davutoğlu, a prominent politician, statesman in Turkey. But I would like to ask you a question. It's a rhetoric question. If we speak our mind, it might become boring. If we speak our heart, it might disturb some people. What do you prefer? Because you understand, we are former foreign ministers. It is much easier for us to exchange, given our experience, than being here as current foreign ministers, as acting foreign ministers, being prisoners of the so-called strong positions that deriving from our deep systems. Well,
we want you to, with The Economist, you know, we like some argy-bargy, you know, in the discussion, so we want you to speak your mind, and we don't mind disagreement, as long as no fighting breaks out.
It will never be. It will never be.
Never.
But let's go back to what you asked me before. Middle East. From the times of, let's say, fictional stability, we have entered the era of permanent uncertainty. This is the situation on the ground over there. Ahmed explained before his point of view, how does Turkey and himself sees the situation over there. I would like to jump to another issue. How can we cooperate together behind and above our issues in order to justify our common role within NATO, for instance? Turkey and Greece are important stakeholders in the region for different reasons, but we are on the same side. Are we in a position to start talking to each other? You know, everybody knows that in Greece, I was always in favor of a dialogue. The unthinkable was out of my mind, whether I was mayor or minister or whatever, because I personally believe that only diplomacy can lead us to a new era of peace, friendship, cooperation, and stability. This requires mutual cultural respect and fostering trust. What is lacking in the Greek-Turkish relations is trust. And this is the responsibility of politicians from both sides. We have made progress in the past. Ahmed referred to what happened just 8 years after our war in the year 1922. And two visionary leaders at that time took bold decisions. There was still bloodshed in the region at that time. And they decided to sign a pact of friendship, cooperation, and non-aggression. So, 1 century ago, it was possible. Today, with what has happened in the meantime, we're not in a position to find a solution. So, trustful relations, mutual respect, and never stop talking to each other.
So may I ask then, just to interrupt, so it's importantly this, we may call it a rapprochement of sorts, has taken place between Greece and Turkey in recent years. We have the continuation of this high-level dialogue, which is, despite the backdrop of conflict in the wider region, this dialogue has continued over the past few years. I'd like to hear from both of you what you think that has, how important it is, what it's achieved so far, and where do you see it going? And do you think, I mean, important agreements have been made in all sorts of areas, but do you think it's also possible that this dialogue could lead to agreement on some of the thornier issues, the maritime delineation and so on and so forth?
Can I?
Of course.
Thank you, Ahmed. Hear that. In the year 2012, when we were both ministers of foreign affairs, we had signed 25 agreements. And at that time, the climate was totally different. The situation escalated. It happens. There are ups and downs in the Greek-Turkish relations. But I will focus on one issue. Forget all about the others. I was always in favor, and we have discussed it in the past, how can we solve the Cyprus issue? And I'll tell you why. Beyond historical and emotional reasons, it is in the interest of both countries and of the region to solve this problem. I'll tell you why. From the moment Cyprus is reunited, then as a state can immediately proceed to delimitation of maritime issues with all countries in the region, including delimitation between Cyprus and Greece, Cyprus and Turkey, and what is the consequence? Then directly Turkey and Greece. So we shouldn't abstain from finding a solution to this issue, because you talked before about the big issues in Eastern Mediterranean. What is the main issue in Eastern Mediterranean? The delimitation of maritime zones. So, historically, politically, we can reach an agreement there. Because nowadays, I listen to people saying that the only solution is to see this country divided. No, it is not what we need today, because it will become a permanent nucleus of crisis and destabilization of the region.
Thanks.
I fully agree, but let me clarify my position in a very frank manner, from my heart. We are in the same region. We are neighbors. Our history is same. Our culture, our cafe is same. Everything is same. When I became chief advisor, as the new Turkish foreign policy, I declared zero problems with neighbors.
Yes, they will come.
Zero problems with our neighbors. That was my principle. Many people thought this is a very utopic. Yes, I am a historian. I know that there cannot be zero problems between brothers and sisters as well. But first, you have to make a psychological shock to the elites who think that Turkey is eternal enemy of Greece, or in Ankara, those who think Greeks are eternal enemy of Turkey. Same with Russia, same with Arab countries. That psychological shock was important. When we came to 2010, in Athens, we had joint cabinet meeting. I was Minister of Foreign Affairs. We signed 22 agreements. With my dear friend, he is really an exemplary good relation between two of us. In 2013, we signed 25 new agreements in Istanbul. Altogether, 47 agreements in 2 years. While in 90 years back, Turkey and Greece signed only 35 agreements. So it is up to you how you approach your issues. Today, I was a little bit, sorry, again from my heart, Dimitri, if you don't mind, when I listened to Mr. President Tassalos and my dear friend Dora and also Dan Diaz, Minister of Defense, I have all the answers to their positions. These are national positions. They said Turkish invasion. I would say no. There was a coup d'etat in Cyprus which changed the status quo, and it was an obligation for Turkey based on international law to intervene. Or I could say, if Greek Cypriot side accepted Kofi Annan plan in 2004, today we would have been together in EU. So there are always an argument. Mr. Dandias mentioned the casus belli. I think many people misunderstand this. In NATO, no need to use this. We can talk bilateral. It is not NATO issue. There is no casus belli as it has been described. On 1st of June 1995, Greek side unilaterally declared the new territorial waters of Greece as 12 miles. I hope one day those who do not understand our approach fly over Aegean Sea. If 12 miles is accepted, a Turkish ship cannot go from Istanbul to Izmir without permission of Greek side. So Turkish parliament responded, please don't do it. Now what is solution? Very simple. Greek side may say, we do not claim 12 miles until a negotiated solution is being established. And Turkey would say, there is no casus belli or anything. It is not so big problem. But what did we achieve with Dimitri or with other leaders before? Instead of declaring to each other national positions in a very high volume, it is better cooperate. So then things will be seen very low level. I was a little bit surprised when I listened that in this new European structure, some Greek friends feels this is a threat for Greece because Turkey would get some financial support from EU, from NATO, EU, about European security structure should be established first in this region by Greek-Turkish cooperation. We are not against each other. We should have a common approach. And on regional stake, I will just, in Balkans and Middle East, we can do many other things together. It is better to develop positive agenda instead of accusing each other again and claiming the national positions. There are always answers to each other. With just one point. Let me say brother Dimitri, my cousin. But Dimitri, I am sure we remember all exploratory talks between Turkey and Greece in 2012-13 when it was going very well. When our team went on the way to Athens, I told them, please make empathy. Understand what Greeks' concerns are and act accordingly. We want a creative solution. If we make empathy to each other, There is no problem not being resolved, but important is vision.
Okay, Dimitri, come back, and then we're more or less out of time, but I want to just the last thing about the Middle East.
I will make a comment. Since Ahmed referred to casus belli, we have discussed about it many times. If a war is going to happen, do you think that there will be a warning before? What history has taught us? I think it is a useless obstacle in our relations. It's a useless obstacle. Some people preserve it. Why? Because it is also true to say that we are not all of us open-minded. There are some other circles within our countries who are afraid of opening their minds. I'm afraid it happens. It has happened many times before. And when we refer before to Venizelos and Ataturk, it was exactly to show that what we need is bold leadership. Definitely, Greece is not threatening Turkey. On the other hand, Greece is the bridge of Turkey towards Europe. And we have discussed it many times in the past. What we want from our side is to have a stable Turkey on our borders. What is happening within Turkey? Sorry, Ahmed, it's your own business.
Yes.
Okay.
Family business.
Because sometimes there are comments on what's happening within Turkey, on domestic politics and all these things. So I believe that what we need is to keep talking to each other, to foster respect between us, to stop threatening each other. Because I see also nationalists from both sides making our life difficult every day on the TV programs. No. What we need now is pragmatism, respect history, respect the other, and keep this road open. Dialogue, dialogue, dialogue. I want to make one more comment. Till 2019, all these issues that were raised after that were sleeping. Why do I say sleeping? Because no side could take the decision to withdraw what is qualified as strong national position. But we managed during our times to have these issues sleeping. So there was only one issue open: how to proceed to a dialogue in order to delimitate our national, not national waters, but our sovereignty rights over the Aegean Sea and the rest. We have to keep talking about it. And I'm in favor of this dialogue because what has happened in the past reminds us that whenever we reach the edge on our relations, a catastrophe had followed. And it is not to our generations to permit such an unthinkable thing to happen again.
Keep talking, but we can't keep talking, unfortunately. We have to finish the session, and it's, there's lots more to talk about, obviously. I would have liked to return to the Middle East, but we've got 2 more sessions before our lunch, so we have to end this now. But I think we were on the same page, and we focused on the most important
There is no zero-sum
issue.
game. There is win-win case.
Yeah, so please join me in thanking our 2 speakers.
Thank you.